Have you ever walked up to a place of worship, reached up, given that heavy metal bell a quick ring, and then, immediately hurried inside?
Oh, yeah. Like all the time.
Right. If you're anything like me, you probably learned to do this when you were a kid. It is just, well, it's what you do. You ring the bell, you step through the doors, and you get on with whatever you came there to do.
Exactly. It's almost reflexive at this point.
Yeah, totally reflexive. But what if I told you that this seemingly simple childhood habit is actually a massive missed opportunity?
I mean, it really is the ultimate example of going through the motions without understanding the actual mechanics behind them. We sort of treat the bell like a doorbell for the divine, you
It's
know?
just announcing we've arrived.
Right. But if you look at the actual acoustic physics behind it, it is this highly sophisticated piece of ancient technology.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today in this deep dive. We are looking into a really fascinating Bengali audio analysis that it deconstructs the literal mechanics behind ringing traditional Indian temple bells.
It is such a great source.
It really is. The central thesis here is that this practice isn't just some blind religious ritual or like a superstition. It is arguably one of the greatest living examples of acoustic science in human history. Okay, let's unpack this,
I am so ready.
because I am incredibly excited to decode the hidden science behind something so everyday.
Well, to really understand the science here, we have to first look at the ancient scriptural claims. Like, we need to look at the original blueprint, so to speak.
Right, figure out what they were actually trying to do.
Exactly. And then we can see how modern physics and neurology perfectly back up those ancient claims. Because, I mean, the alignment between the two is just staggering.
Provided you actually understand what the bell was built to do in the first place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because before we can talk about the hard science of how this acoustic technology works, we really need to understand what it was designed to achieve. And that starts with the ancient text.
It does.
Because the childhood myth most of us are taught is that ringing the bell, like, awakens the gods, or that it's a way to send a message directly to God.
Which is a very human, simplified way of interpreting things.
Yeah, it's a very egocentric idea,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm here, look at me.
Very much so. But the scriptural context is entirely different. In the ancient texts, specifically the Skanda Purana and the Vaya Purana, the sound of the bell is referred to as Na'ad,
Nod.
right, which basically translates to cosmic sound. This sound symbolizes the Omkar, or Nad Brahma.
Wait, like the sound from the dawn of the universe.
Yes, exactly. It is considered the primordial sound that was created at the very beginning of everything.
Wow. So ringing the bell is supposed to be like a localized recreation of the origin of the universe.
Yeah,
That is quite a bit heavier than just ringing a doorbell to announce your arrival.
much heavier. And the scriptural benefits are highly specific too. The texts state that wherever the sound of this bell reaches, it acts as a purifying force.
Okay, purifying in what way?
Well, it is said to remove evil forces, negative thoughts, and specifically dispel what they call tamasic feelings.
Tamasic meaning like ignorant or lethargic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that heavy, foggy feeling you get when your brain is just sluggish and you can't focus on anything at all.
Precisely. It is meant to snap you right out of that lethargy. The texts explicitly say that the bell is rung before prayer so that humans can forget the noise of the outside world,
Right.
to find absolute concentration and act as this miraculous bridge between God and the soul.
But here is the critical part, and this is the common mistake highlighted in the research, which I thought was fascinating. Almost everyone rings the bell and immediately walks away.
Oh, yeah. It is a huge mistake.
Reading that absolutely blew my mind. Ringing the bell and running away is like, I don't know, pressing play on your absolute favorite song and then immediately sprinting out of the room before the first note even drops.
That is a perfect way to put it.
It defeats the entire purpose. The real magic lies in the method of receiving the sound. But that actually brings me to my first major point of skepticism here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I completely get the spiritual metaphor.
Yeah.
I do. But how does a simple piece of metal achieve this alleged miraculous bridge between a tired mind and a state of deep concentration?
Well, to answer that, we really have to look at the hardware.
The hardware.
Yeah, it comes down to highly specific ancient engineering. We are talking about advanced metallurgy and sacred geometry.
Okay, get my attention.
The bell is not just a simple lump of metal. It is definitely not made of a single metal like pure iron or copper or silver or gold.
I mean, if it were just pure iron, it would just go clunk
It
on me.
absolutely would. True temple bells are made using a specific type of bronze known as bell metal.
Dull metal. Okay.
Yeah, the baseline recipe is about 78% copper and 22% tin. But crucially, it doesn't stop there.
Oh.
It also includes microproportions of zinc, cadmium, nickel, manganese, and lead.
Wait, hold on a second. Zinc, cadmium, nickel, manganese, and lead.
Yep.
That is an insanely specific recipe.
Yep.
That sounds less like casting a basic noisemaker and more like crafting a precision medical instrument.
It really is on that level of precision.
Why go to all that trouble? Like, what is the actual physics behind adding these random micrometals?
It is all about the lattice, structure, and elasticity. When you mix metals, you are creating a crystalline lattice at the molecular level.
Okay, tracking with you so far.
Think about iron or common steel. They have very rigid, tight molecular structures with incredibly low acoustic elasticity.
Right.
If you strike an iron bell, the kinetic energy from the strike is quickly absorbed by the rigid lattice, and it just gets converted into heat.
Oh, I see.
So the sound fades incredibly quickly, and it sounds really harsh and jarring to the human ear. It basically dampens itself.
So the iron basically swallows its own vibration.
Exactly, but the molecular structure of this specific bell metal formula is entirely different.
Because of the added metals.
Yes. By combining the copper and tin with those specific microproportions of lead and zinc, they created an alloy that acts almost like an acoustic lubricant.
Acoustic lubricant. Wow.
The lattice is incredibly elastic. When you strike it, it doesn't bleed the kinetic energy away as heat. It creates an intense internal vibration that physically holds the kinetic energy as a sound wave in the air for a much longer time.
Okay, so the metal itself is literally designed to trap and sustain the kinetic vibration.
Yes, exactly.
But it isn't just the metal, right? The shape has to matter too. I mean, if you just cast that metal into a flat sheet, it wouldn't work the same way.
Oh, absolutely. The geometry is just as critical as the metallurgy.
I figured.
If you look closely at a traditional temple bell, you will see it is flatter and elliptical at the bottom, and it features this hollow dome in the middle.
Right, that classic bell shape.
Yeah, but this isn't just for aesthetics. When the clapper, that's the heavy part inside, hits the main body, the sound waves don't just scatter out into the open air in random directions.
Let me see if I am visualizing this correctly. It is like taking a flashlight and putting a parabolic mirror behind the bulb.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Instead of the light scattering everywhere weakly, the mirror focuses it into a concentrated beam pointing straight forward. But here, they're doing it with acoustic energy.
That is a perfect analogy, actually. The sound waves bounce off those perfectly rounded interior walls.
Just bouncing around inside the dome.
Exactly. And because of the acoustic impedance of the metal, the waves reflect repeatedly inside that hollow dome without losing their energy.
Wow.
This is what physicists call an internal echo. And because of this specific geometric construction, the bell acts as an acoustic funnel. It creates an intense, concentrated ring of sound waves directly beneath it.
So it is taking all that sustained vibrational energy from that highly specific metal alloy and just directing it straight down onto whoever happens to be standing underneath it.
Yeah,
You are literally bathing in concentrated sound waves.
you really are. And this is where the hardware meets the software, so to speak.
How so?
Because we now know how the bell holds its resonance and how it directs it. But the research points at something very specific about exactly how long it holds it.
Right, the 7-second rule.
Yes. Ancient Indian temple bells were perfectly weighted and molded so that a single strike produces a continuous, unbroken sound for at least 7 seconds.
That is just so specific.
It is. And this isn't just a folktale either. The 7-second claim is rigorously documented across multiple sources. The Hindu portal, the HinduPad website, and the Tirumala Tirupati Saptagiri magazine all verify this.
But why 7 seconds? I need you to explain the mechanism here, because this is where my skepticism flares up again.
I get that.
You were telling me that just standing under a ringing piece of metal for 7 seconds can physically alter my brainwaves. As someone who has tried and failed to meditate for 20 minutes straight, that sounds a bit too much like magic.
It really does sound like magic, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
How does a sound wave rewrite electrical activity in the human brain?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it is not magic at all. It is a biological mechanism called neural entrainment, or the frequency following response.
Neural entrainment.
Right. Your brain operates on electrical impulses, and it has a natural tendency to synchronize its own electrical cycles to external rhythmic stimuli.
Oh, like when you naturally start tapping your foot to a beat.
Exactly. Modern neuroscience shows that when you are exposed to a continuous, sustained sound wave for roughly 7 seconds, your brain matches its frequency to that external stimulus.
Really?
Yes, it creates a perfect balance between the left and right hemispheres of your brain.
So if you are listening to this right now, what does this actually mean for you, the person standing under the bell?
It means your brain undergoes a measurable physical shift. Think about it. Before you walk into the temple, you are likely in a state of beta brainwaves.
Data waves.
Yeah, beta waves are these fast, erratic electrical patterns associated with active, alert, and often anxious or stressed states.
Okay, so like when you are thinking about traffic or your job or just all your daily worries.
Precisely. But as you stand under that 7-second continuous acoustic wave, the neural entrainment forces your brain to physically shift from those beta waves down into alpha waves.
And alpha waves are the electrical state associated with deep meditation, relaxation, and focus.
Exactly.
That is incredible. I mean, think about that for a second. The texts say standing under the bell wipes away negative thoughts and fatigue instantly. It forces a complete reset.
It really is a reset.
Instead of sitting in a quiet room for 30 minutes trying to force your brain to calm down, this ancient bell is engineered to physically force your brain into an alpha state in exactly 7 seconds, just using acoustic pressure.
It is a forced acoustic reset. You cannot help but be brought into the present moment because the physical vibration is literally hijacking and altering your brain's electrical activity.
That's wild.
And what's fascinating here is how the analysis connects this directly back to ancient biology, specifically the concept of chakras.
Right. Sanatana Dharma mentions the 7 energy centers or chakras in the body. I've always thought of chakras as a purely spiritual or metaphysical concept, like a visualization tool.
A lot of people do, but the text actually grounds it in hard biology.
How so?
If we look at human anatomy, these 7 chakras correspond directly to the body's main nerve plexuses.
Nerve plexuses.
Yeah, these are the major hubs where nervous system activity is concentrated,
Yeah.
like the cardiac plexus near the heart or the solar plexus in the abdomen.
Okay, tracking.
What is actually happening biologically is mechanotransduction.
Mechanotransduction. Break that down for me.
It is the process by which cells convert mechanical stimuli into electrochemical activity.
Okay.
Remember that intense 7-second internal echo funneling down from the bell?
Yeah, the acoustic funnel.
That sound doesn't just travel through your eardrum, it creates mechanical vibrations in the water content of your entire body. I mean, humans are roughly 60% water.
So you aren't just hearing the bell. You are physically feeling the acoustic pressure wave moving through your actual cell.
Yes, exactly. The sound waves travel through your body's fluids, and they mechanically massage and stimulate these 7 major nerve plexuses. They particularly trigger the vagus nerve.
Wow.
The spiritual text says the bell aligns your chakras. The biological translation is that this physical vibration stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, instantly pulling you out of a fight-or-flight beta state and into a state of physiological calm.
Here is where it gets really interesting to me. They literally engineered a device that forces your central nervous system to relax just by standing under it.
Yep.
That alone is a masterclass in human engineering.
Yeah.
But the bell doesn't just change the internal environment of your body.
No, it doesn't.
The research points out that it actually changes the external physical environment of the temple itself, which I found totally wild.
This brings us to acoustic sanitation.
Acoustic sanitation.
Yeah, the scriptures have long claimed that ringing the bell purifies the air. For centuries, people assumed that meant, like, a spiritual purification.
Right, like chasing away ghosts or bad spirits from the temple.
But modern science says it is doing something much more literal.
Much more literal, like what?
Modern acoustic science has shown that high-frequency sound waves and intense vibrations physically interact with the microscopic environment,
Oy.
specifically in the inner sanctum of the temple, known as the garbhagriha, which is often a small, enclosed stone room.
Right.
When that bell rings, the vibrations are so intense that they actually break the cell walls of harmful bacteria, viruses, and microbes floating in the air.
Wait, I really want to make sure everyone listening caught that. The sound waves are literally popping bacteria like tiny balloons.
Basically.
It is acting as a natural acoustic sanitizer. But how? How does sound destroy a physical cell?
It is a phenomenon similar to acoustic cavitation combined with resonant frequency.
Resonant frequency.
Yeah, every physical object has a resonant frequency. It's a specific pitch at which it naturally vibrates. If you blast a microscopic pathogen with a sound wave that matches its resonant frequency, the cell membrane begins to flex and vibrate violently.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, the structural integrity just fails and the cell wall simply shatters. Think about an opera singer hitting a perfectly pitched high note and shattering a crystal wine glass across the room.
Oh, right. I've seen videos of that.
It is the exact same principle of physics, just applied to microscopic pathogens in the air.
That is absolutely mind-blowing. They engineered a sound that physically sterilizes the air you breathe while you pray.
It's genius.
But, reading through the end of the analysis, there is this profound sense of loss, like a modern dilemma,
Yeah,
because we have essentially lost the thread on this technology, haven't we?
we really have. The data points out a deeply unfortunate reality about modern temples. Today, many of them no longer use the ancient ancestors' Panchadhatu, the five-metal formula, or that proper bell metal recipe we talked about.
Right.
The market today is flooded with cheap alternatives. You see bells made of common iron, aluminum, or basic brass.
And because they are using the wrong materials.
Because they use cheap metals and completely ignore the precise geometric and metallurgical physics, these modern bells absolutely do not produce that 7-second echo.
Right, because they don't have the proper lattice structure.
Exactly. They just make a loud, jarring noise and fade out in a second or two.
Which means all of that brilliant engineering, the neural entrainment, the brainwave synchronization, the nervous system regulation, the acoustic sanitation, none of it happens.
None of it.
Ringing a cheap aluminum bell provides zero scientific or biological benefit. It is literally just noise.
Zero benefit.
Yeah.
And the tragedy is compounded by our modern behavior, too. Even when a temple does have a proper ancient bell, people just ring it mechanically and walk away.
Right, the mistake we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah, the true scientific purpose is currently being lost to just mechanical habit. The correct practice, if you want to experience the actual technology, is to ring it and stand directly underneath it, allowing your nervous system to absorb this vibration therapy.
It's a massive tragedy of lost tech. Humanity has kept the hardware shape-like. We still manufacture things that look like bells, but we completely lost the operating manual.
Perfectly said.
We forgot the exact metallic recipe required to make it work, and we forgot that we are actually supposed to stand under it to receive the neurological downloads, so to speak.
We traded a highly advanced neurological and environmental tool for a completely empty ritual. The main plea of this analysis is to really urge people to understand these practices through the lens of physics and biology, rather than just blindly going through the motions of tradition.
So, to summarize the incredible mechanics we have unpacked today, the simple act of ringing a temple bell is actually an unprecedented, brilliant blend of metallurgy, acoustic physics, and human neurology.
It really is.
It is a precise alloy crafted into an acoustic parabolic mirror. It produces a sustained 7-second wave that triggers neural entrainment, shifting your brain from an anxious beta state to a calm alpha state, while simultaneously using resonant frequency to shatter the cell walls of airborne bacteria around you.
It is a masterclass in holistic engineering that we are honestly only just now beginning to fully understand with modern scientific instruments.
So, the next time you encounter an ancient tradition, whether it is ringing a heavy metal bell or something else entirely, maybe don't be so quick to dismiss it as mere superstition.
Absolutely.
As we have seen today, there might just be a masterclass in physics hiding in plain sight, completely disguised as a simple childhood habit.
And this raises an important question, and it is something I really want everyone listening to think about as we wrap up.
Let's hear it.
If ancient engineers could design a simple metal bell to perfectly manipulate human brainwaves and literally sterilize the air with sound, what other seemingly mundane ancient architectural elements or rituals are actually highly advanced forgotten technologies just waiting for modern science to rediscover them?